Hi, welcome back, ladies. All a little later in the evening now. I waited till the sun went down behind my gardens because today is today that I have to harvest my garlic. So yeah, my garlic's all ready to be harvested now. I checked it a couple of days ago. It was ready then, but we've had rain since then, and I don't like to harvest my garlic when the ground is wet or if it's raining outside. I always like to give it a couple days of nice dry weather. This is my garlic patch. I forgot to grab my shovel, which I will do in a minute. Right now I just want to show you guys quickly with these couple that are on the end there. I think these couple on the end didn't get as big as the rest of them. I had a lot of weeds in this garden this year for some reason or another. I think it was the fresh compost that I put in here, and it probably wasn't quite composted enough because I had to use up so much compost this year. I used up pretty much every bit of compost I had on the weeds. Actually sometimes help in a garden because they'll keep the ground from drying out, especially when you have a really warm, few weeks. This is probably what most of them are going to be. This is the size of my garlic head. It's a nice size, not too big, not too small. Perfect. But now this is how I usually can tell my garlic is ready. The tips will actually start to go brown, and the bottom leaves at the base will start to dry out. Now the reason I like to harvest them when it's a little drier, even this soil is a little wet than what I would like to harvest my garlic, but I'm afraid it's going to rain again in the next day or so, so I want to get them out of the ground before it gets even wetter. So what it is see, the bulbs of garlic is actually just a leaf, like of the plant itself, which goes down, and it's the bulb at the base is what feeds the leaves, and it's actually just an extension of the leaves are just an extension of the bulb. So when they die off, you get these the dry part coming down, and that's the dry part that goes over top of your garlic, and that's what helps seal your garlic and stop it from drying out when you store it for the winter. Well, all of my garlic is from my own garlic that I grew the year before, and then the year before that, and then the year before that. Last year I kind of got a little crazy when I planted my garlic. I planted like 350 or 360 head of garlic. We still have quite a few left. I fermented probably 50 or 60 heads in 3 different jars. We still have quite a bit of that left as well. That's why I only planted, I think, maybe 65 or 70 heads in this bed this year. That's more than enough for us, and it's more than enough to give me what I need to plant next year, because don't forget, each plant is going to give you about 7 or 8 cloves of garlic, and that's 7 or 8 plants next year. So yeah, I just got to get these not planted, but all pulled out, well, dug out. You don't really pull that garlic because the last thing you want to do is to break the stem off the bulb, because then it doesn't store very well. I mean, the garlic would still be okay for a while, but if you break the stem off by pulling it out, you pull that dry layer off your garlic, and it doesn't store real well. But it doesn't hurt the garlic. I mean, if you're using it within a day or two, it doesn't matter. 30-degree weather, above 30-degree weather. Today was 32 in the shade, probably more like 40 outside in the sun. The sun usually goes down behind the trees around 6:30, 7 o'clock at night now. So that gives my garden about 10 to 11 hours of sun, which is plenty for plants. And a nice garlic clove. Now I got to run and grab my shovel because it's going to take me forever to do this if I do it by hand. I'm back. Took a little bit of a jog up there to get this, but this is my garlic shovel. I made this one, quite a number of years ago specifically for pulling out garlic. And it worked great. Look at the size of some of these heads. Huge garlic heads. That's the bulbs I kept from last year. I did also a small experiment this year. Because I've been having trouble with certain bugs over the last few years, I had a lot of problems when I was planting potatoes. So I just put in a couple of seeds of potatoes in there just to see if I planted the potatoes in with the garlic, if the garlic would mask the tomatoes and keep the tomato or potato bugs off, Looks like it did the job. I haven't seen a potato bug out here this year, not one. Now I'm pulling the garlic out, they're probably all going to get destroyed with potato bugs. I must say the weeds did really take over this garden this year. I've weeded this garden quite a few times as well. I'm not too worried about these potato plants because I just wanted to see if I planted garlic around my potatoes, if it would keep the potato bugs away. Sure seemed to have worked quite well, actually. I haven't seen a potato bug out here all summer. Smaller plants did okay. Bulbs are like the average size that you will buy in a grocery store. And this is my average size compared to what you will buy in a grocery store. Big difference. Look at the size of this guy compared to that. They're even getting bigger down here. Look at these monsters. The last couple of days, I was a little worried that I was going to be a little bit late harvesting my garlic. I was afraid that the cloves would actually start separating, and if that happens, the garlic's still good. There's nothing wrong with the garlic, but it just doesn't store well. But they look absolutely perfect. The other thing I was worried is that I thought maybe the weeds that I let grow up inside here would actually take the nutrients away from the garlic and they wouldn't develop really well. The weeds didn't affect them at all. They're actually bigger than what I thought they would be. But now I did use a lot of my nitrogen tea on my garlic. When I planted it, I fertilized it. In the spring, as soon as the ground was thawed and they started shooting up, I fertilized it. I fertilized it one more time after that. So yeah, garlic's a pretty heavy feeder. They do need lots of nitrogen in order to... but I am glad to know that a few weeds in your garlic bed is not going to have any effect on the size of your garlic. Wow. Like, those heads are huge. And this bed is maybe 3 feet wide, a little bit more, I'd say about 40 inches by maybe 18 feet long. So it's not a big bed. Quite a bit of garlic. There's all the garlic. So yeah, right now what I'm actually doing is I'm putting my garlic in direct sunlight only for about an hour or so, just to kind of dry off some of the dirt that's on the bottom a little bit. Because if I hang them up on my front deck, my wife's going to get a little annoyed with me once the gravel and that all starts dropping down on her furniture. So I always try to get them cleaned off, and that way we can hang them up out there, and they're up high enough that they're out of the way, and there's nothing falling off them. So when I do my garlic, to dry them, I just usually tie them together. But what I always do while I'm doing that is I try not to keep the heads together. So I always try to step them away from each other so you get a better airflow through the garlic itself. So that's pretty much what I do, just like this. You can see where the garlic heads are. Hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe consider subscribing. Leave a comment. Smash that like button. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Thanks for watching. I actually got 61 cloves of garlic.